Hey guys, Teresa here. Welcome back to my channel, Lost My Thread. It is the beginning of Me Made May, and for me this year that means that I am starting the process of trying to get to the bottom of what I want for my Me Made wardrobe and figuring out how to get there. I'm excited to make a start. I made a video sharing my pledge for Me Made May this year, and one of the things I really wanted to do is to understand my style and my Me Made wardrobe better and try to create a vision of where I would like my wardrobe to be. I have a few resources that I've been looking through and pulling out what I think are the best bits or the most relevant bits to me, to a sewist, and I want to share those with you guys in quite a structured approach. So over the next 4 weeks, I'm going to be working through different stages and sharing in my community tab ways that you can do the same for your own wardrobe if you want to join along. The two resources that I found the most helpful and influential were the Curated Closet by Anushka Rees, which is a book that came out quite a few years ago, but I think is still really relevant, and the Design Your Own Dream Wardrobe Workbook from Love to Sew podcast, which is a free resource. Again, I'll have links to everything down below if you want to look into these yourself. What I really wanted to do was to break it down into what I could do each week to gradually work through the whole process throughout the month of May as part of the understanding my wardrobe, improving my relationship with my wardrobe for Me Made May. This first week, so today what I want to talk through is what my wardrobe currently looks like, figuring out what my style is and understanding a little bit more about what I'm currently wearing. In my pledge video, I said that I was going to start taking daily photos of everything that I was wearing over the next 2 weeks. It's 2 weeks later and I have been taking photos every day. For me, it was actually quite different than what I typically do in Me Made May. So previously I've been taking daily outfit photos in May for the last few years, but generally that's just one outfit, what I was wearing when I was going out, tried to do them as outdoor photos, and I feel like that only reflected a portion of my wardrobe. The difference here and what the Curated Closet mentions and what I wanted to focus on is all of my wardrobe. So not just the things when I'm dressing up and looking nice and going out of the house, but actually if I'm also spending time at home, what is my home wardrobe looking like as well? It was interesting to me to take photos of every single thing that I was wearing, which meant that a lot of it was loungewear, pajamas, things that I'd be wearing when I'm just bumming around at home. And actually, it was useful to look at those things and consider sort of the bigger picture. Are all the elements in my wardrobe where I really want them to be? You will see that the photos I've taken of myself are generally mirror selfies on the whole. So they're not going to be glamorous photos with good lighting. They're more just like a reference for myself. I know what those clothes actually look like, so I know what the colors really look like. It was more just to be able to document, to keep track of what I'm wearing. And what I want to do first is just pick through what my favorite outfits were, what my favorite looks were over the 2-week period. I had a bit of a hard time picking favorite looks, and that's generally a positive thing because I am largely really happy with what I have in my wardrobe, but I still wanted to go through the process. And as I was looking through, I felt like there was almost like 3 different vibes, 3 different kinds of looks, and they're all different, and I like them all. And so I chose a couple of examples to show you of each of them. The first one I would say is all like very similar color palette, definitely very like autumnal color palette, which is often a color palette that I like to wear that I think works well with my coloring. I would say this look is quite sort of retro inspired, 70s inspired. There's a lot of corduroy there, a lot of warm colors, earthy tones, and a lot of it is quite cohesive, and that's one of the things that I really like about it. So I feel like when I'm wearing the clothes that fit this kind of vibe, everything matches. I feel really coordinated. I feel really like I thought about my look, very intentional, which is obviously the case. And I feel pretty cool in a lot of these things. Some of it I will say I feel quite cute in as well, if it's like a fun matchy combo. But that is one vibe that I really like, that I wear a lot of. And then another side of my favorites of things that I really like to wear is one that I'm wearing today, and also a dress and cardigan that I wore. And I really like both of these because they have a real like feminine, ethereal, elegant feel. And I don't think that's necessarily in contrast to what the other look is, but I tend to wear these things quite separately. And when I'm wearing this kind of outfit, I feel light and floaty and not necessarily as like practical. I'm probably not going to be digging around in the ground in these things, but I feel like they are still really comfortable. I like the shaping in at the waist to show my figure. They feel just really feminine and beautiful. And then the third section that I feel like really deserves its own place is loungewear. So when I'm at home, I often spend my time in essentially pajamas, often the same things that I might sleep in, often sweatpants, t-shirts, sweatshirts. And I feel like, generally speaking, a lot of my loungewear leaves a little to be desired. But there were some things I really enjoyed wearing, and generally they are my matching loungewear sets, which surprises nobody, I'm sure. If anybody has made matching loungewear sets, I'm sure you know just how nice it feels to be wearing things that are super comfortable. They suit the bill of what you require, but you just feel cute, you feel put together. It just feels really fun, and I don't mind answering the door in these things. I did also have one more look that wasn't strictly like a matching outfit, but again, it felt like it was bringing a lot of what I like to wear going out into my loungewear, and I had some unexpected pairings, and it felt really cute and fun, and I feel like that's something that I need to try and keep in mind when I'm planning my loungewear in the future. Picking the least favorite, I will say, was a bit easier. There was a look in particular that I just didn't love the way I felt in. So it's the Lamont top by Itch to Stitch with the Sasha trousers by Closet Core Patterns. Both of these I think individually work really nicely. They're really good, comfortable, fitting things that I wear regularly. But this top I feel like just really didn't have a great vibe with the trousers. I don't think it's the color combination, I think that's fine. I think it's to do with the fit and the shape of these two together. So this top is not especially fitted at the waist. It goes in a little bit, but not particularly so. And I feel like with the fit of the trouser, it just overall looked a bit oversized and sloppy. I just didn't feel very professional in it. I was wearing this to work. The top I feel like does generally better if it's tucked in, if it is under a pinafore or overalls, or if it is with something with a bit of a higher waist. Now, I actually made the same top in a different fabric that I wore under the Pippi pinafore, and I really loved it. So it's not the top's fault. I think it was just a bad combination. One other outfit that I wore that in theory I truly love, but was not working for me, was the Corduroy Maya Sotis dress. Now, I will say these are not the greatest photos of the dress. I'll pop in some pictures of my outdoor nice photos so you can see what this dress really looks like. It's a stunning dress. I absolutely love it. But the issue was I was wearing this to work, and going into work I felt really professional. I felt really beautiful. Love all the gathers. I love the corduroy, the combination and contrast of those two. However, it's long sleeve and it has a thick button placket. When I'm at work, I am midwife and I have to roll my sleeves up past my elbows. And it was very awkward to do that with this kind of fabric, with that long of a sleeve. And whenever I was doing it, I was just getting a bit annoyed with it. It was just not practical. And I think I need to try and gauge the balance of what I like the look of and also what is actually going to suit me and what I need my wardrobe to do for me. My number one least favorite look actually I think is just kind of a funny one. This is my doing the housework outfit. So I'm not going to be putting on my favorite, most fancy things to clean the house and make a mess of them. The pants that I'm wearing are very old style joggers from Tilly and the Buttons. They are worn out. There are areas along the bum where there's holes where the seam line is. The fabric, it's a French terry and it is wearing through a bit at points, definitely thinning out at points. It's what I wear when I don't mind getting a bit dirty, and we all need those things. The sweater, I actually like the sweatshirt. It's the toaster sweater one, but I like that one because it's really stretchy fabric and the sleeves pull up really easily and it keeps me warm when I am a little bit chilly. The apron is definitely the worst of all. This is an apron from Anthropologie that I use just for whatever I need to do around the house. And I have for years been wanting to replace that apron. It is so just awful and bleach stained and paint stained and all sorts. So I know that it's not a very beautiful look, but I will say I put it on and I get done what I need to get done. And when I was doing my daily outfit photos and taking a picture of me in this ridiculous outfit, it did make me laugh. You know, thinking about how I felt in this outfit, I didn't feel glamorous. I didn't feel beautiful. but I felt like I was ready to get stuff done. And actually, to me, I feel like I looked kind of mismatched and crazy in a cute way. That might be weird to some people, but I feel like sometimes when you're really kind of embracing the doing the housework and just getting it done, I think that's kind of fun. I'm not necessarily planning to replace those things as far as like not having things that I don't mind getting dirty. So even though it wasn't my favorite look, as it were, I still would wear that again tomorrow if I needed it. A really useful way to understand your own style and what you're wearing, what you like wearing, is to look at the clothes you've made and then pick out some common themes. Now, I have photos of everything I've been wearing for the last 2 weeks. I'm really going to focus on more what I would call like my day wear, my going out wear, rather than my lounge wear and what I'm wearing at home. Because I will say the lounge wear, I don't put as much thought into, I don't put as much planning into. Yes, maybe I need to. That's another topic for another day. But right now I really want to focus on what I'm wearing when I'm leaving the house, when I'm really putting thought into my outfits. Now, the last 2 weeks, I will say, is definitely a useful snapshot, but it is only a snapshot. And I also keep a spreadsheet about every me-made item that I wear. I tick a little box and I add a number every time I put on a me-made clothes. So I actually know really specifically what I'm wearing on the day to day. So I also looked at what I've been wearing over the last year and I picked out my most worn items. A lot of them will overlap, but there were some differences. Some of it will be to do with seasonally. I'll be wearing different types of clothes. Some of it might be to do with just size fluctuation, what's fitting, what's comfortable at a given time. So I'm going to talk about what I was wearing over the last 2 weeks, but I'm also going to touch on what I know I've been wearing the most over the last year. One thing I think that is safe to say across the board is that there's a lot of color in my wardrobe. I like to wear a lot of color. It makes me happy. I like to wear different combinations of colors together. And looking through the last 2 weeks, the color that came through the most often was green, which was an interesting one to me because it's one that I've only introduced into my wardrobe relatively recently. And then this is one of the things that I'm aware of when I'm just looking over the last 2 weeks. I'm probably more likely to be wearing the things that I recently made that I'm most excited about. And so there's a bit of a balance there where it's not necessarily going to be indicative of what I wear over the next, whatever, 9 months, 12 months. So there was definitely a lot of green there. There was also a lot of pink and blue. Pink and blue I definitely expected. And there was also a fair bit of red and like a mustardy yellow color. When I look at over the whole of the last year though, there's definitely a lot less green and a lot more pink and blue, which is really what I would expect for my own wardrobe. I do tend to wear significantly more wovens than knits, and in the last 2 weeks it was almost twice as many wovens as knits. And I think that is pretty similar just overall throughout the year what I tend to wear. I will say as far as like drapey, more structured fabrics, they're fairly even. I do tend more towards the drapey side, but I feel like some of the things like this top cotton double gauze, you could probably argue either way. I'd put it in the drapey category, but I do like to have a little bit of movement and draping gathering in my fabrics. I do also tend to wear more solids than prints these days, largely because they're just really good for pairing together either with other solids or with prints. But I think in my full year, there's probably less of that imbalance and there's more prints coming through as compared to just the last 2 weeks. If I am going to wear a print, it's definitely most likely to be a floral. I enjoy a novelty print. I enjoy something a bit abstract or geometric, but just don't tend to wear them as often. And I'm not really a fan of animal print. Looking at overall silhouettes and design details, I would say in general, I do like a semi-fitted look. So I don't want anything necessarily super figure hugging, but I like it to hug my body in certain places. It's nice to have some shaping, particularly around the waist area. And I feel like that is very consistent over the last 2 weeks as well as over the last year. I don't generally tend to wear a lot of things that are just oversized, especially if there's not any kind of waist shaping involved. I am also a fan of a bit of a statement sleeve, so a balloon sleeve, bishop sleeve, any kind of gathering around the sleeve head or at the cuff. I do really like those kinds of details, and you see that in my wardrobe. If I was looking at the last 2 weeks, I would see there was much more of a lean towards a midi length skirt or dress. But if I look throughout the whole year, it's actually pretty split. I like to wear maxi and midi and short dresses equally. I think when we sew, it can be really useful to be able to pick out what types of fabrics, what types of designs that we're actually going to be reaching for again and again. So I will be putting all these questions that I went through with myself on my community tab if you want to ask them for yourself as well, just to help you pick apart some of those details within your own wardrobe. Something that a lot of these resources encourage you to do is to think about what you are actually needing from your wardrobe. So thinking about what your daily life looks like, how often you might be actually going out and needing to dress up, how often you're going to be going to work, how often you might be exercising, how often you're actually just going to be sitting and lounging at home, and then seeing if your current wardrobe reflects that. Do you have enough of the right things that you're going to be wearing more often? Do you have maybe too many of the things that you're not going to be wearing that often? Personally, I don't think it's necessarily a problem if the balance isn't there, but I think it's just something to consider. And that is definitely where I myself look at my wardrobe for my loungewear and I think, you know, I do quite a lot of lounging at home. I put those clothes on when I get in from work. I put those clothes on before I get dressed for my day. And actually, those are the clothes that I feel like are the saddest, that are falling to pieces, where I have the most old ready-to-wear items that are 5, 6, 7 years old, that are threadbare, that have holes. And I think I need to spend a little bit of time focusing on that area of my wardrobe as well. Now, something that the Love to Sew workbook and the Curated Closet encourage you to do is to describe your wardrobe in 3 words. So come up with 3 words that you feel like really sum up your style, your current wardrobe. I did ask you guys if you had any suggestions of words that you thought would suit my wardrobe. I personally had quite a lot of ideas for myself, and I had a bit of a hard time pinning it down to 3. It was so great to get your suggestions because you guys gave me loads of really good words as well that I feel like really do work well for my wardrobe, but there can be only 3. But I will say, I think I've got 3 good ones, and I feel like I can use those simple words to say quite a lot. My first word is soft. Soft, I feel like, can describe so much in my wardrobe. I like soft fabrics. I like soft drape. I like a soft, relaxed fit. I like soft design lines. I like soft colors. I feel like soft really does encompass quite a lot about my wardrobe, so that is definitely number 1. The next word I've gone for is colorful. I do have a lot of color in my wardrobe, and I really enjoy wearing a wide variety of colors. I like wearing vibrant reds, I like wearing bright punchy pinks, I like wearing soft blues. I have no intention of getting rid of any of those lovely bold colors, and I love actually contrasting them together in unexpected ways. I love color, and I love using it in my wardrobe. And my final word is timeless. Timeless to me is not necessarily keeping up with the trends. There's a bit of retro, but there's some things that are a little bit more modern in there. Things that are classic, that I'm going to be able to wear for years to come. So I feel like soft, colorful, timeless, that feels like my wardrobe, both from the last 2 weeks, but also my wardrobe from the full last year of the things that I've been reaching for the most often. I really like the overall silhouettes of the things that I wear, and I feel like I found the right balance of fitted and more relaxed that just make me comfortable and make me feel good. I absolutely love all the natural fibers that I've been sewing with these days, so I do enjoy having those clothes against my skin. I enjoy a bit of texture on there with a lot of those fabrics as well. I feel like I'm making a lot of the right choices with the fabrics that I'm choosing, and it's really nice to see that a lot of these pieces are now starting to coordinate a bit. I've been finding certain palettes that I gravitate toward, but I don't want to go too narrow down there because, like I said, I still like having the variety, but it's nice to have different color palettes that I can tap into. If I'm looking at the flip side and the things that I feel like are not working for me in my wardrobe, what I feel like I could use some work on and I don't like about my current wardrobe, absolutely loungewear has got to be there. But if I'm looking at the day-to-day wear, I feel like I would like a bit more femininity in my wardrobe. I have a lot of things that I would say are relatively basic, and I want more ruffles, flounces, gathers. I want more floaty feminine things that I can then pair with some of those more kind of straight corduroy trousers. And I think that leads perfectly into my plans for next week. So for the second week of Me Made May, I'm going to be showing you guys where I would like my wardrobe to be. So I've shown you guys where my wardrobe currently is. I'm going to be showing you some inspiration photos on Pinterest of styles, shapes, silhouettes, garment types, fabric types, things that I would like my wardrobe to be. So essentially, if I was starting from scratch, I didn't have anything in my wardrobe, if I could paint a picture of how I would like my wardrobe to look, that's what I'm going to be showing you guys. So if you want to join me and you want to follow along the journey, do the same over the next week. Gather some inspiration photos, whether that's from Pinterest or Instagram, or looking at your favorite movies or TV shows with cool fashion, looking on the street, what you see around you, making note of the styles and the design lines, types of fabrics. And then I'm going to be pulling all that together to create a picture, an image of what I would like from my wardrobe. In week 3, I'm going to be comparing my ideal to my current wardrobe and looking through to see, do I have clothes that fit my ideal style? Do I have things that maybe I want to say goodbye to or that I need to alter to help them to fit my ideal wardrobe? And then in week 4, I'm going to be talking about plans that I have to try and get my wardrobe from where it is to where I would like it to be. I have to say this process has been pretty eye-opening and fun so far. I hope it's been interesting and inspiring to watch me work through the process with my wardrobe and that inspire some of you guys to do the same with yours. If you have thought about your 3 words that describe your style, I would love to hear them in the comments down below. I think it's so interesting. You can create a whole vision just from 3 words. If you have any thoughts on the words that I chose, I would love to hear those as well. As I said, I'll be putting up a community post with all of the little action points and questions if you want to ask yourself the same questions that I went through to help you get to a state where you feel like you know where your wardrobe is right now. And I really hope that some of you guys follow me along next week thinking about where you'd like your style to be. If you enjoyed the video, please do give me a like down below. Make sure you're subscribed to my channel if you want to see more videos, if you want to follow this series. I will see you guys very soon. Bye!